Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to explain another question simulation using Python. Today we are going to see how prime number checker security system can be simulated using Python and the same logic in Scratch as well. But as usual, I'm not going to show the Scratch implement. I'm going to show the Python implement, but I will explain the parts for Scratch implementation as well. So let us understand what the we are supposed to do in the first problem. So we have to design a security system that allows access to a vault only if the entered number is a prime number. If it's not a prime number, the system will deny access and notify the user why. So I am supposed to write a program to tell that whether it's prime or not and grant access or deny the access to the vault. So what's a vault? Vault you might have seen in some movies or cartoon or comics. That vault is a big steel door on which there is a coded password. If you open then all the money is stored inside it. So basically bank has a vault which is a big size locker. So in order to open the locker and if we wanna make the logic in Scratch then we have to use two sprite. One cat sprite which is the one which will where the user will store the cat is going to ask or you can also do it in one sprite only the world sprite. So the world sprite can also ask the user that enter the password which you are going to enter a number and it's gonna check out whether this number is prime or not according to the conditions and will say welcome or access denied on the basis of result. So whether number is prime or not is a boolean type data type where you the whether number is prime it will store it is true or false value. So the most biggest question is how I'm going to understand whether the number is prime or composite. We all know that prime numbers are the numbers which is only divisible by itself or the number 1. So how do we find prime numbers? We can find prime numbers mm, by checking the divisibility from all the numbers from say 2 to any number which we have typed in the password before it. Suppose we took 12 as a prime number or not, then we are going to check from 2 to 11 all the numbers whether it's divisible or not. So if a number is divisible then its remainder is 0 if we divide it with any divisors. Say if we are taking 12 and we divide it with 6 then the remainder is 0. It means the number 12 is divisible by 6 so it's not a prime number. The easiest approach is to check by all the numbers whatever is just before it because the number itself is going to be divisible. Mm, there can be another second approach that we can use that we find the number's square root and whatever the square root is to the nearest greater integer we are going to check for all the divisors under that integer. So our we want to check all the prime numbers under that integer. So our span for checking will reduce but it's another complicated program which is I'm going to explain in the next part of this video, not in this one, as it's a little complicated and why I'm going to tell about why that algorithm works and how it's going to be implemented in Python. So I'm going to today I'm going to explain with the all the number approach. And so let us see how we are going to implement it. So, hmm. So it's the solution one for this problem. So I'm gonna check the numbers. First, I'm going to produce a list which contains all the number starting from 2 to whatever number is 1 less than the whatever the number is. So I define a function which is named isPrime, which takes any number as an input. So this number, what we write inside the bracket, is called a argument or parameter. So whatever this variable name is number. Whatever we give actual input, say suppose whatever input we give, suppose I give 7 as an input, then the variable number will store the value 7. So basically, whatever value I pass through this function is going to be stored in the number variable, and it's known as hmm, so I have made a list, empty list inside this function, and I'm using the for loop to insert the number from 2 to n minus 1. And we know that in a for loop, all the number at the end minus 1 is stored. So n dot append I actually stores the value of i's. And what are the values of I? 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, so on. If I'm taking number is equal to 7, then it will store from 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 till 6 it's going to enter in the list n. So then I'm using the fact that any number divided by any number and divided by any divisor, if the remainder is equal to 0, then it is a it is not a prime number. It is will be a composite number, that any other divisor other than itself. So I'm going to check all the numbers stored in the list one by one and try to divide it by the number which I inputted, for which we are questioning whether it's prime or not. So yes, so I'm checking the condition, number divided by n index equal to 0. This percentage means is a modulo operator, and in simple words, modulo operator means the number divided by the divisor. Whatever be the remainder, I will store it for answer of this operation. Basically, it's the remainder, and n bracket index means, so n is a special data type which is known as list, or in Python it's known as list in Python, and in general if we talk of any other programming language, n is also it is known as arrays. So what is an array? Array is a bigger variable. In normal variables we store just any one value in that variable, but this array is a bigger variable where I can store more than one values inside it. And in normal variables we store any one value which can be of integer type, which can be a decimal, that is float data type, or which can be a string, that is any sentence data type, or it can be boolean, that is true or false storing data type. But inside an array, I can store any I can store more than one values, that is I can store 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 inside one variable named list of n. List which is named as n, or array which is named as n. So it will store more than one values, which can be integer, decimal or float. It can be string, or it can be boolean, that is true false true false true for more than one times I'm storing. And in order to understand which value I want to access in this variable, I'm using index. And how an array is indexed how an array is indexed in a list or an array? It's the default in Python and in C is that the first value will have an index 0, then the next one 1, 2, 3, and so on till what, and at the end the index will be whatever is the total number of elements minus 1. And you might ask why it's a total minus 1, total number of elements minus 1. Hmm. Yes. It's total minus 1 because I'm starting from 0. If I started numbering from 1, then the last element index will be the total number of elements. But as I'm starting from 0, so that's why it's 1 less, because from I'm counting from if I want 10 elements and I'm counting from 0, then it will be named as 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and all the 10 element is numbered. So that's why it's total minus 1. And in general, if the first index is not is equal to 0 or any other number, then the last element index value will be total number of elements minus the lower limit index value. I will make a separate video about arrays, specifically speaking about what are arrays, what are its data types, and what values can it store, what operations we can perform on it, and what's their algorithm in a separate video. In this video, I'm just explaining a high level so that we can understand this particular solution. So, so I want to store any index. Yes, I want to store I want to actually divide by all the values which are stored in the variable n, all the particular values. And what are the values? A number. So, if I use an if statement and check for one number only, then it will stop after one number. But I have to continuously divide by all the numbers stored inside the list of numbers n, which I have named as n, small n. So for that reason, we have used a loop outside this if condition, and this loop's purpose is to access all the numbers inside the list n. And using the index, I have said that the index value should go from 0 to n minus 1, because if n after n minus 1 index is increased. Yes, because after checking the if condition, I am increasing the index value by 1. So when it's n minus 1 and it's get incremented by 1, then this loop will stop working, as index should be less than the total number of elements. Yeah, so for giving the instruction that total number of elements is this much, we use the function called len, length of n. That is, it can count length of any array, or you can say list or tuple, which are some particular arrays used in Python. So yeah, we we are using the fact that any number which can divide any number which is less than the actual number which we are checking for prime or composite has another divisor than itself, and 1 is a composite number. So that's why I have returned a false value. So what do you mean by return function? In any function, at the end what it should output is actually denoted by return. And when I'm saying false, then this whole function will at the end of doing all the operations inside it, will say the final value is false, as it's a composite number, not a prime number. So if till the end, I have reached till the end of all the numbers inside the list n, and I have not find a single number which gives a remainder 0, and it means the number is prime. So I am returned the value true, that is, the overall is prime number function will output true. So yes, till here is a function definition. Whatever is afterwards, these written below, is by using this function I'm trying to give an input and asking whether this input is a prime number, and if result is not equal to true, means the vault will not open, so it will say wrong password or access denied, enter a prime number, as it was written that we are supposed to give the reason. And if result value true is true, then it will print welcome, that is, the vault will open. Yeah, you can also use the if condition in other way. Yeah, the result variable, I have made another variable result which stores the whatever the output value of is prime function is, and which we have defined as true or false. So you can also check for true result, as if result equal to true, then you will print that it welcome, and in else part you can write the wrong password, access denied, enter a prime number. So it will work the same way. So both the logic you can use. So yes, I have used the variable a which stores whatever value you are going to enter, that is, the user is going to enter as password. So if you are in Scratch, then you will understand you have to define that a as input ask. You will use the ask block and store, instead of a you will have answer as the variable, and you will directly pass it through the user defined function block is prime, and you will input a, and afterwards you will say that if else block you are going to use, and use say for printing, and use the logical operatives for true and false value. You, instead of true or false, you can use 1 for true and 0 for false. It will work the same way. in Scratch, or you can directly use the word true or false. Scratch will also pass it. Till here, it's almost till this space, it's almost the same in Scratch. And for the definition function block, the make a function block is there to make a function by user, to make user defined functions. So this one is also a user defined function which is written by me. So def is used to denote the user defined functions. You can name the block as is prime and have an input, integer input defined in Scratch, and you are going to define a list and then use a loop, that is a repeat block, and add it in the inside the list, and use a while block. Here I've used a while else block to understand. So I'm going to make a separate video for how to make a list in Scratch. I'm not explaining it in this lecture. So let us see the output of this function. This code. Yeah, it's asking me enter password. Let us put 56. Hmm? Oh, sorry, by mistake. It got my 56 got typed over there. Yes, so I'm entering 56 in here. Say it says wrong password. That's 56 is a composite number. 7 8s are 56, so it has a divisor 7 and 8. Let's try again. Just put 19, which is a prime number. Say welcome. So yeah, it's working for all possible numbers. But in this code, you can also write if number is equal to 0, then you can, or 1, then you can say that this is a wrong password because 0 and 1 are not prime numbers, which I have forgotten to add in this code. So let us add it. If like for putting negative numbers, it's not in, doesn't really is placed inside a key, so we can use directly that if number is less than equal to 1, then say return false. Because putting negative numbers is not usually there in your keyboards. Now we try to enter 0. They say wrong password. We try to enter 1 here. We'll again say wrong password. This is because what? So well and good. So that's all for today. I have only discussed the solution one part. I'm going to make another video which suggests another solution algorithm, and I'm going to make this particular problem gonna have two more videos, because we have three possible solutions for coding, two main logic and one a different way of coding. So that's all from my side for today, and thank you very much for watching our video till the end. If you loved it, then please click the like button and please subscribe my channel for further more content like this. So bye bye, take care and stay healthy, stay safe.